been back there listening, and fun show so far. And you guys are my kind of audience. I like you guys. You don't laugh at everything. It's so awesome. You know, you got to make them earn it. You know, some audiences, oh my God, pain in the ass. Laugh, 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 laugh. You know, you come up here to do 10 minutes of material. You only do 8, 9 minutes worth. Tonight you're getting 12 and a half minutes worth, crammed into 10. So since this is a political show, I thought I should tell you where I stand right off the bat. To describe my politics, I would say that I am a liberal / hypocrite. I have very high ideals. Absolutely no willpower to live by them. I despise animal cruelty, but I love meat. I am a feminist, but I also acknowledge that having that point of view makes it easier to get laid. And I'm a passionate environmentalist. A big fan of recycling, unless, of course, the black garbage can is closer than the blue one. I performed a lot of political events, usually Democratic or progressive events, but I did once fill in for someone who got sick at the last minute at a Republican event. And I don't know what I was expecting, but I was blown away that it was such an awesome party. I didn't know this, but it makes sense kind of because the natural constituencies of the Republicans represent the major ingredients in a good party, right? They represent meat and alcohol, pharmaceuticals, firearms. Hey, I got a Smith & Wesson in my goodie bag. Woohoo! Democratic goodie bags, it's a condom and a rape whistle. So it is 3 days away that we'll have a new president, and I am a glass half full kind of guy. I like looking at the bright side of things. It's tough sometimes, but in 3 days, Donald Trump will be president of the United States. Also, in 3 days, I will go back to being smarter than the president of the United States. I've been a dumb shit the last 8 years, but I'm going to be a genius on Friday. One guy who does not need a bright side is Vladimir Putin. I think he's just been giggling since November. I would think he's just so happy. But I gotta think even he is creeped out by how Trump just fawns over him all the time. No, Trump is like the one-night stand that doesn't go home. You know, Putin just wakes up and Donald's sitting on the end of the bed staring at him. Are you my boyfriend now? I gotta think at some point Putin calls Trump Tower and says, do you think you could back it off just a notch? You know, this is supposed to be on the down low. I don't know if anyone's planning on traveling anytime soon, but if you are leaving the country, going anywhere else during the next administration, you got to be careful. You got to just remember these 3 words, and if you will, just repeat after me. I am Canadian. That's very simple. So today, the president pardoned some more people, including Chelsea Manning and my boyhood hero, Willie McCovey. I guess I didn't even know he had been convicted of something. You get a lot of people today, after they heard that Chelsea Manning was being commuted and he would only serve, or she would only serve 7 years in prison instead of 35. And they were acting like 7 years in prison is a walk in the park. I volunteer at a prison. I volunteer at San Quentin in Northern California. They have a creative writing program, and I go up there about once a month and work with the inmates. I go in for 3 hours at a time, and it's scary. Before you can say someone can't serve, that 7 years is easy, I would like to see someone serve 7 days and see how they come out. So one thing you learn if you ever volunteer at a prison, you're not allowed to bitch about your day, because they always win. Last time I was up there, I was in a shitty mood because I had dropped my phone at the beach and it got wet. And this guy just looks at me and says, "The fucking beach?" It was foggy too. So the guys in this group were most of them in their 40s or 50s, and serving time for something they did when they were 18 or 19. And it's sad, a lot of these guys, all of them, in order to get into a class like that, have really rehabilitated. Some still have long sentences ahead of time. But could you imagine if your entire adult life was judged on the stupidest thing you did at 19, I'd still be known as the streaker who couldn't hurdle a rose bush. So anyone who has ever, oh wait, I wanted to tell you this. It's another thing that I did for a while. I worked for a congresswoman at one time. I was a communications director for a congresswoman from Northern California named Jackie Spear. It was great. What I didn't realize was that I was going to be able to draw on the abilities I've learned as a comedian in a congressional office. Because pretty much every other person who calls a congressional office is a heckler. And they just want to yell at you. They just want to tell your boss is a crook and you're a communist. And this one guy, I think it may have even been my first day, I don't know, but he said, you work for me, pal. My taxes pay your salary. And I said, oh, come on. I find it hard to believe that you pay $750,000 a year in taxes. But if you can't take a joke, you shouldn't call your congressman. This guy, his big thing was illegal immigration. Everything was caused by illegal immigration. He said he has lost 2 jobs to illegal immigrants. And I said, can I give you some advice? Don't tell people that. It makes you look stupid. You were born in the United States of America. We're given 12 years of free high school, free public education, and you're losing a resume contest to a guy who doesn't speak the language? I have a hard time blaming Pepe for that. But anyone who's done comedy for any period of time, or people who go to clubs, you run across hecklers. It's something we deal with all the time. Hecklers have nothing to say, but they say it loudly. They're not there to inform you. They're not there to move the story forward. They're there to shock you. So that you say, oh my God, you hear what that guy said? Donald Trump is a heckler. That's pretty much everything he communicates, whether it's a tweet or a speech or anything, there is no ambition there to make you change the way you think. It is just you say, did you hear what Donald Trump said today? Now, 99.9% of the times that there's a heckler, he gets dealt with pretty quickly. Either the comedian drills him a new asshole, or the other audience members tell him to shut up, or the club escorts him out. But every once in a while, 1 in 1,000, is the comedian's nightmare. When the audience sides with the heckler. Oh my God, I've been there. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It's usually like a midnight Friday show, and the ratio is all out of whack. You only have a few nice comedy fans, and you got a whole bunch of drunk frat boys and bachelorette parties. It's the worst feeling in the world, and that's my way of dealing with the election. That is what happened. It was rare. It was a mistake. It's a bad idea, but it happened. And we've had bad ideas before. We got over them, right? Every civilization has had bad things happen to them, or bad ideas, or going down the wrong road. The ancient Hawaiians. The ancient Hawaiians used to honor their god by tossing a virgin in the volcano. Now, there is no evidence that the gods were impressed. But it sure loosened up the women. Yeah. You know you're a loser if you can't get laid around virgin tossing time. Hey guys, well, that's all my time, so enjoy the rest of your show.